Good evening. I'm calling the December meeting of the North Island Recreation Park District to order. Okay, item 2, approval of the minutes. So we have minutes for October 11th meeting and also the November 27th special meeting. So does anyone have any corrections for staff on that? Do we want to vote on both?
I'll make a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Chairperson's report, doesn't have anything. Comments from board members? Does anyone have any?
So I happen to be on the CSDA website, and I noticed that they already have registration for the fall conference. So again, I'm plugging it for everybody, if anybody would like to go, because as soon as Terry will tell us, you can't make a reservation at the hotel until you register for the conference, and then they'll give you the code to register for the hotel. So, you know,
Where is it?
Anaheim, it's the Anaheim Marriott.
Ooh.
I've been there a couple times before on different conferences and stuff. It's a pretty nice facility.
Well, if it's in Anaheim, I'm sure it is.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an older Marriott. It's not that old, but you know,
But,
it's,
yeah.
it's right next to the convention center. The Hilton and the Marriott are right next to the big Anaheim Convention Center. But this is not the convention. This is all the Marriott.
Yeah, nothing can be too much rattier than some of the places
Oh, no,
we had
I
to
get
stay
it.
when my dad was between bases
I know.
and assignments, so, I mean,
So, you know,
okay.
I'm going to mention this for the next couple meetings and then
Okay.
probably ask Terry to make my reservation, because at this point, I'm probably going to go again. Is, you know, get a lot of good stuff out of it.
all right.
And I realize we have 2 teachers on the board, which makes it very difficult for them to get away. But I have, you know, another person that's about to retire, so I won't mention any names, so.
So we need to get, you know, give Mickey some heck.
Well, yeah,
If
I mean-
the special, if I go down.
Well, okay. that's-
I'll give me.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's all I got.
It's not far from the Marriott.
Does anyone else have any comments? All right. Boards for the standing committee. You guys, anything that's on the agenda later?
No.
I don't think so. Okay, I'm going to have a special guest here this evening, so I'm going to, because he has to go to another meeting for another park district, I'm going to move item 10A as the next item. So the report that Fulton Community Park and Rec, you're on.
Sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to apologize to be listening to my people as I'm talking. So if I start strangling, it's, you know why. Or it's just because I'm tired and whatever. My name is Caleb Magazine. I'm a sergeant with the Fulton Community Park District Police Department. I believe we sent you guys over a couple-page document kind of outlining our relationship between our Park District's Police Department and you guys year to date. I'm not going to read everything verbatim because I hate being that guy and I hate listening to that guy because most of the time you don't listen to that guy. Basically, here just to kind of recap of everything that's been going on in the Park District to date. North Highlands is an area that you guys, out of the entire North County, were the second to last park district to join us. So we had every district surrounding you guys from Rio Linda, Sunrise, going that way, Carmichael, and then Fulton El Camino. And as our issues in those districts decreased, especially more noticeably in Sunrise, I saw when I was driving by an uptick in the issues at Rock Park or over on Ruth Inman Park, etc., with speaking solely to the transient population. Since we have been active in your parks, and I would say that we were active in August. I think July was more of a learning period of where the parks were geographically, who our clientele were. We focused on educating But even today, there was nothing there. I mean, it was clean, and that's on my way here. I drove through the district just to see if I could get anything that would make us look good right before I presented it. No, I mean, it was clean. And as I went through Plain Haven, the parking issues that were there, one day in August after we decided, all right, enough was enough, we had 3 officers sweep through and focus on those quality of life issues surrounding the park. Because as a family, if you're coming up, and we'll use Plain Haven Park as an example, you're coming down North Air Base, and all of a sudden you just see all these abandoned cars with people living in cars right at the front of the park. I got a 1-year-old, I'm not taking my 1-year-old there. So our philosophy is to improve the quality of life in and about the parks, with the goal being the parks. So we spent time and just focused on getting cars out of there, parking, ticket them to death, as well as towing the vehicles that needed to be towed, making the arrests that needed to be made. We identified one problem house that was on the corner of Wings and I think it turns into Poplar there right at the turn. I'm so familiarizing myself. So it was on Wings and Poplar that there were a couple known gang members that lived there. We were finding that their friends, prior to making any narcotics transactions, were parking down Wings, but on one of the inlets to the park. We've had people run from us through there. So we started hammering that little corner, and sure enough, that whole family is in compliance. I met the parents who live there who don't condone the behavior. Their children are 42 years old, and the parents actually did a great job after I had our and we haven't had that type of issue since. We are getting a few complaints there more than anyone else because I think one of the neighbors is quite active and quite vocal. So we have that in a few parks, but by the time he's complained, by the time I get there, his complaint has moved on. So it's not like people are taking up residence there. The biggest park that we're having consistent issues with at this point in time is Freedom Park. It is multifaceted and offers multiple opportunities for individuals to get shelter, to get water, to have cover and concealment from us, and it seemed to just be a huge hub. So one of the things that we did is we focused on it, but we've also assisted and worked with SSD's hot team, the homeless outreach team. They worked up and down, is it Dudley at that point? So 34th at that point. And I don't know if you guys have noticed a reduction in RVs, cars, et cetera, parked on there. Half of it was us issuing tickets and doing what we could do and providing, the help we can. The other was the hot team going the extra mile, which they do a great job at. Freedom Park, though, still, although we're not seeing as much activity during the winter months, it's still a park where we usually we'll run from, if I'm going out to Rio Linda and I'm anywhere else, because some days we don't have hours in North Island. We may or may not, on our own time, swing through Freedom Park just to see, and we usually bring 2 officers, and we approach it from different angles, because in the last year, I've been in more fights and chases in that park than anywhere else, and I think the reason is just they haven't had park police. And parks are usually, the way the deputies think about it is, hey, you can legally be in a park, I'm not gonna go mess with you, we have an entire county and so much stuff to deal with. Well, we're finding out that, hey, this is what we do, so when we go talk to everybody, whether it's a law enforcement encounter, whether it's a helping hand encounter, whatever it is, but we're getting coming across the people who have the warrants, who have the narcotics. I think all but one of our narcotic sales arrests have come out of that park. From crack cocaine and methamphetamine. We ended up with a big cocaine bust in Carl Rosario Park, all of which ended up getting worked out, and we work with SSD to see if there's follow-up so they can go up the chain. We don't have the resources to do that, so we deal with the big fish right there, and then we pass the information on to those who can actually follow up and maybe squash it altogether. The issue that we come across from an administrative point of view when we do this sort of thing is the hours as a whole. My job is to balance what the desires and the needs of your guys' district are, what you tell me they are, what your residents complain about, and within the budget that you guys have deemed and set out there. And so sometimes I feel like I can't give you what I want to give, but I understand that the budget concept of it, and it just is what it is. But right now, because of how active it's been, we are struggling, we've cut back on hours altogether. So we were given, I believe that the breakdown was 9.72 hours or something, 500 hours over, the 12 months. Breaking it down, I think, as of I last looked, we were at 7.2 hours or whatever for the remainder of the year. Now, in the wintertime, that gives us a little bit of time to catch up, but what we like to do is we do sweeps and whatnot in the summer times when it's more active, which is we'll have upwards of 7 or 8 officers and cars on, and we'll just go through the district and do a mass roundup to keep them off balance. So what we've done is we've personally cut down to around the scheduling for 3 hours a week right now in this district to allow for that cushion. We flex those 3 hours a week so that nobody knows when we're here, when we're not. Again, I may or may not personally drive through here, donating hours from FEC to just make sure that, the last thing I want to see is, the work that we've done start to slide backwards. So it's, an ounce or an ounce of cure or a pound of prevention. I think it's the other way around, but you guys know like I said, I'm tired, I've been in meetings all day. And I know one of the issues of contention, and not contention, but Larry brought to my attention, was parking revenue. So I don't deal with any of the financial stuff. I'm a cop. I get frustrated when I deal with meetings all day, and I look at paperwork, and I do budget analysis, and I was in retail, loss prevention for years, so I did, profit and loss summaries, and I got up to executive management and dealt with budgets, so they, of course, naturally, in this department, hey, you have a skill set, why don't you use it? But I don't pay attention to revenue income or anything like that because it's not my place. I am in law enforcement, that is what I do. I talk to people, I build relationships, I know. So when Larry brought to my attention, hey, but you told us this and we're not seeing a thing, I looked into it, made a phone call, and as it turns out, not just your district, but all of our district had a backlog of parking citations. And it was as simple as there was a posting on the third-party company's website that says, hey, we're changing our email address from this to this. Well, we missed it. I don't check it. The person who does just missed it in the fine print. And we, for the past, I think it started in June, so from July 1st through today, or through whenever we talked, we were sending all of our sites to the wrong email address. So we fixed it last week when it was brought to our attention. And the numbers I have, and you'll have to forgive me because I didn't go through and tally up individual citations. As of right now, in your district alone, there is $11,962.50 worth of citations outstanding, meaning they haven't been paid. That does not take into account fix-it tickets. So a lot of those are registration violations, which would be $115, all calculated into that. If they fix it within 42 days, it's only $25. But there's some handicaps in there at $407. There are a lot of park hours, which are $50, $57.50, etc. But if we take that number on the whole, and that's through last week at the 60-40 split, we owe you, once we get paid, we owe you, if we get paid all of that, $4,785. So we're able to give you a reflection now of what you guys would be seeing in hindsight, which I promised that we could have done it in the beginning, but apparently we're just sending things to the wrong places, so we don't have that information. And we didn't. Now, I can't promise when the district is going to see those funds because I don't go to these people's houses, turn them upside down and shake the change out until they pay. But I do know that if these don't get paid within the 1 year time frame, it just gets attached to the vehicle registration. And the vehicle can't get registered unless they pay these fines. And the fines have citation numbers on them, which corresponds with a third-party company, which our bookkeeper, she's way more than that, so she pissed us. But Linda Montijo, she now has the ability to just start dispersing the funds as they come in. So you might see, a check for $50 one day, but then the next month you have $400, and it can range anywhere from that. I know that she recently wrote a check for $800 to the district. And now what I don't know is that was because that ticket got us information late, the citation late, or if everybody just decided to pay all at once. But that is something I know was brought to my attention and I wanted to address, because the last thing I hate doing is saying, hey, we can do this for you. And then you guys are like, well, show me, but I haven't done anything yet. And I hate that.
I don't want to paraphrase it.
No, you did not. But I mean, I'm a very blunt guy, and I'm not very good at the whole finesse thing. But one of the options or one of the reasons I wanted to come forward and talk was because you get a sense from you all, because no one's seen my pretty face before, so you guys can have a face when you want to test someone out in your head, like, does our police need to do this? You can at least visualize me when you're yelling at me. Or if you want to reach out to me, we're through Larry that you know who to talk to. But I wanted to figure out what you guys wanted, because I'm concerned. When I met with the chief and prior to meeting with Larry, I recommended between anywhere from 15 to 20 hours per week in this district. As a correlation, there's a park district which is adjacent to yours that only has 3 or 4 parks, and not nearly in this area, and they give 520 hours annually. So just 20 hours more than you. But in your demographic area, your size of park, and quite frankly, your parks are popular. Not just for transients, but for the community. They're very active parks. I would recommend 15 to 20 hours a week. Now, again, I'm going to make work whatever you guys have, and I understand budgets and I understand all of that. So I'm not trying to pressure you guys or make you feel like if you don't do that, well, they're not going to do their job or anything. I'll make what work right now, which is why we tried to cut down to 3 hours a week during the wintertime to allow for what we anticipate to be an active spring, since we came on at the end of summer. But my recommendation would be, as budget reviews come up, would be to consider what the funds were. And I don't know if it was, hey, this is all we have, we're going for it, or, you know, this is the first time we're stepping away from private security, going into the law enforcement realm, and we want to see what type of pushback we're going to get from the community. We want to see the impact that's actually going to be made, and we're going to want to see if it's lasting versus, you know, a flash in the pan. Because as my job out there is not only to make the best decision for the suspect in the community, but it's also to represent the North Island Park and Rec District and make the best business decision with every contact that I make, and with your guys' your company's best interest in mind, and you know what's going to bring customers back versus what's going to send customers out. So that's what I wanted to bring to you guys. I think I have to detail it in the end of the document which was sent out, giving you guys a couple options to consider. But also, if you guys had any questions, if you had an opportunity to review it prior to today, that I am here to be your piñata or your magic 8-ball, however you'd like to do.
All I know is after we contracted with you, I mean, I've seen where people at different, especially at Brock, because I live closer, but no, it has had, I feel, a very positive impact. And I saw your guys, you had your vest on one night, you were, you know, I'm all like, yeah. So, but, budget committee, when we're, ready to discuss that, hopefully we can, take into consideration your recommendations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just so the board's aware, as you remember, in January of every year, we come back and do a mid-year budget request, budget adjustment. And the timing was excellent to get Sergeant Magaziner here tonight to give you a presentation, let you know how things are going and where our lost revenue might be someplace, is to give you an idea of what's working and what needs to be done likely in the future to maintain and improve the service that we're receiving. So there'll be a report to you in next month's agenda talking about possibly allocation of additional funds for this program.
Yeah, I truly understand some of the frustration you're going through with Rugen and, yeah, like tonight, there was nothing, but then, a week earlier, there was a whole pile of, a block long and
I had a heart to heart,
6 foot
very, very hard to heart.
high, pile of, I guess, former belongings of the homeless that were camping over.
That was to Xavier and Miss Snar. So here, just to give you a background, the people who are polite to me in parks, even if they're in there after hours, for whatever reason, I usually give breaks because I don't like that. But if they're like, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, we were just packing up. Well, if I hear it over and over and over again, okay, I'm going to give you a park hour site. It is what it is. But they lied to me. They had a bag of meth sitting just right there in the middle of their tent, right? They were using the bench as like an anchoring point for their tarp.
Yeah.
Guys have anything over here you want to tell me about? No. Nothing at all. No. I'm going to take a shot and say you guys did some meth or something. No. That you're about to do some meth. No, we don't do meth. What's that right there? Oh. I was like, oh, you guys are under arrest. Which in California now is just a ticket. But they got a ticket, and I told them I didn't actually trespass them. We will if it's egregious enough, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of the news with a trespass in a park. So I told them, though, you guys can't come back here. And I haven't seen them there for a week, and it was their, I call it like a moat train. It's just stuff. And they have either hung out on the building just north of that, but I haven't seen them in a park. I know Miss Snar's mom was out in the field in the corner of Watt and A, that big field, so I think they're maybe back in that area.
Just a couple of comments to follow up on is that with regards to that particular park, we've had conversations with Sergeant Magazine there, and we are going to be removing that picnic table and that bench from there, because when there's no place for somebody to sit down in this wet ground, they're not going to be there. And if that picnic table was being used for this design purpose, that's one thing, but it's not. And the bench, Scott and I talk about it all the time. You usually see people curled up and sleeping with tarps over the bench. I think for a while we're going to take them out and see if that helps improve it. The other thing too is I just wanted, that you didn't touch on, and I want to point out is that when we talk about this hours that we've allocated for Fulton El Camino PD, a lot of those hours too is when they do arrest somebody and they have to go to the court system and go through that, you can chew up a big chunk of hours because we want them to follow up on it. We don't want them just to say, well, the hours are going to restrain us from following through on those things. So it's not just the patrol hours, it's also those other hours. And we had a meeting earlier today with Fulton El Camino PD, the different district administrators and general managers, and we were talking about this in between some of the topics, and some of them were telling us that they have a lot of their hours get eaten up simply because of court time. So it's not just the patrol, I just want to point it out, it's just not the patrol hours, it's the follow-up afterwards.
And that's one of the things I hate about our department, because we don't have guaranteed funding from the county. Our business model is based off of what Fulton El Camino gives us, because that's where we'll was home, and the contract issue. So an example was at Brock Park, I was talking to 10 people behind the dugout on the concrete slab, moving them all on, because with there's that many people, that's too much enforcement to do. So I find it's best with large groups, you just get them all out of there, they don't come back, and maybe someone gets away, but it is what it is. Well, one guy had a warrant for domestic violence. I was like, all right, I'm going to take him to jail. So as I asked him politely 3 or 4 times to turn around, he decided it was a good idea to run. Well, then after he thought he couldn't get away because the fight was on, he decided it would be a good idea to fight. I was fighting with him for 5 minutes before I was able to ever get to my radio to tell anyone I was fighting, just because we were swinging and hitting, and my mic was chirping, and so people knew there was a fight, they just didn't know who, where, or what was going on. So by the time we got that fight, we ended up having 3 of our guys come from, one was over on Arden and Walnut, the Arden Walnut, Farrell's Boulevard area. Came all the way out. He made it out there in 8 minutes, code 3, as well as someone in Fulton, El Camino. I think they made it out there in 4. They hit Watt, and it was just, I think it was 11 a.m. on a Saturday or something. So, made it quickly, but so they spent time transporting for me, booking you guys' property for me. I wrote the report, but that bringing everybody in just sucked up right there with that one incident, that one individual deciding to be dumb, turned something that was going to be, hey, I'm just cleaning the parks up, go away, 1 hour for the day and I'm done, turned into a 5+ hour ordeal. He's still in jail, but I know I'm going to have to go to court for that. And we have to, because the arrest happened in North Islands, the court time is set in North Islands because that's only fair for everybody else. But that's the one thing I do hate about this. But that's an example, and I forgot, thank you, that, you know, whatever it is, and like I talked about the narcotic sales cases, it takes a long time to document, appropriately articulate, etc., all the information that we book, and then write the report on it. Sometimes reports are the worst thing. I love writing them, but it can take 45 minutes to an hour and a half to input everything, and then you have to tell your story. And you have to think, how is someone going to jam me up for how I'm telling the story because I used something the wrong way, or, you know, is this pertinent, is this not pertinent? And it's just, it's a lot of fun, but it's time consuming. And it's what I may or may not donate report writing on my own time, and I will only charge North Islands maybe 1 hour for an entire incident. And when I'm off, I may just take a computer and just type it out. So that way, you know, you guys get the most bang for your buck. And it's something that me, ethically, I'm not in it for the money. And I feel like because of how the structure is, we have to run the business. I just hate that part of it. So I may donate some personal time to every district where I come across something like that. But it does take up time and it can be a massive time, depending on whatever it is.
And also, sometimes when you know, if you have to take, you have staff taking people down to jail, because
The jail is horrible right now.
it is.
The longest I've
Yeah.
waited is 2.5 hours. Last night I went down there and it was an hour plus. But I waited upwards of 2.5 hours. And now, a special surprise guest. This is Chief Brown. He is my boss, and he is the federal.
Just watch me master at work.
We can tell by the stars in this car.
So yeah, he gets stars. I get.
Not yet.
I get chevrons. I have a chevron. Trust me, I don't want any stars. Give me, I'm happy where I am right now. If you put me out in the field, I'm a happy guy out there. So, but yeah, that's where a lot of the time goes to and comes from, and it's just unfortunate, which is why, and I can say it in front of him because he knows I do it, but donating our personal time to get the reports done and to get that type of stuff taken care of, it helps maximize what you guys get for quality. And it's hard to measure because if you look at the stats I gave you, which are just arrests, you're like, well, that only accounts for 20%. That doesn't account for the time that I've gone over to Freedom Park and there's kids on the playground and I open the cop car doors and turn the lights on and let everyone run in and out. You know, you do stuff like that. And I'll make, you know, several laps around the district even if I don't catch anything because you said, hey, you didn't get anything tonight. The night is young, my friend. And all it takes is one.
Yes.
One person to run, one person to change the entire outlook. Like I was at Ruth Inman, talking to someone, the next thing I know, a stolen motorcycle is riding right in front of me. And okay, that's fantastic. So you were going to come here, maybe carrying on, let me get behind it, turns into a pursuit. He has a gun, and it is just, you know, like it just takes 1 second, one contact, one person, and the entire night changes. But that is someone who is now in custody and will not be on or around your guys' parks anymore. And that's one last gun that was going to be here. So, anyways, am I getting off topic? I don't know.
No, I think it's good to educate us. Yeah, no, and I've been seeing the results.
Good, and that's the big
Yeah.
thing. And he works at the parole office just north. He was even complaining that, you know, the transients When I tell them, I go, hey, 4616 Roseville Road, ask for JB, and they'll just go sit right on his front porch now, rather than sleeping in the park, because I don't care about the parks. I don't care about everything else.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Sergeant or Chief?
Or the chief. Yeah, I can go straight to the top. You're not gonna have Scott Jones here. Yeah, JB.
Oh, he doesn't know my access to stuff.
Oh, that is he hired?
I'm saying, I don't know that.
No, don't ask.
That's not,
I'm just kidding.
that all happens down on the second floor.
Fourth floor.
And then on the other side of the fourth floor.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Em and I just go to the same parties.
Yeah, they party together. I just. Anyways. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'll head up to that area.
Thank you for coming out and
Thank
speaking
you.
with
I'll
us
talk to you soon.
tonight.
Take care.
Bye.
Scott, by the way, I got your email. I just haven't replied yet.
No problem.
All right. Thank you for allowing them to do the presentation out of order. Next item on the agenda is item 6, administrator's reports. Larry, is there anything you'd like to highlight or
Well,
add?
we have the oath of office that has to take place. So if I could have Alan and Pedro and Pat stand up. I'm going to hand these things ahead of time. You're going to have to sign on the front page, return that to me or Terry, but what's inside is yours, Pedro.
Right.
All right. Gentlemen, if you can raise your right hand, and I'll say all three of your names, and everything else all you have to do is say what you want to say at the end. Okay. I, Pedro Marquez III, and Alan Montre, and Pat Williams, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Thank you. If you will sign that, you can give Terry that right here, and return that to Terry before you leave tonight.
So we also sign it, Terry Smith?
Please don't do that. Sign it with your name, and give it to Terry, and congratulations on your election. I know it was a very tough one this year, but we're glad to.
I spent a lot on that campaign trail.
Thank you.
I don't think since I've been here that there has actually been a contested election.
Not since you've been there, there have been.
There have been.
All I know is last time I ran, I got knocked out,
Oh,
so it does happen.
I got knocked out my first 2 times.
anyway, just make sure Terry gets those before you leave. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So anything else, Larry?
Just anybody, if you have any questions about the maintenance agreement with the All-Star tournaments, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The swim team equipment list, that'll be on the mid-year adjustment for January. Cherry Blossom Park construction update. What I put in the report is already out of date. The park is just about finished. It's 99% done. Scott and I participated earlier in the week of a maintenance walkthrough with the developer, the architect, and landscape architect, and the contractor, and a host of other people that were there. We walked the entire new park, and they were looking for things that had to be fixed or repaired, and they created a minor punch list. I believe those items are so minor they're likely to be, they could be completed by early next week even. Once I'm notified that our architect who's doing the inspections has been satisfied with the punch list, then I will sign with the developer at the beginning of the 120-day maintenance period, which should put us towards the end of April. And that's kind of exactly what our target date was. And we will collect taxes, the first round of taxes in January, the second round in April. And those funds will be more than sufficient to cover us through the last 2 months of the fiscal year. And just like our general fund budget, any surpluses we have will go into a reserve account, and then we will have a chance to build a new budget based on a full year, although with still partial revenues coming in. The developer did indicate that sales have slowed down a little bit, but mainly because of the interest rate increase. But he said that Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was about 40-something more homes to sell, and it'll be done. And so he said that probably will extend out into, obviously, into 2019. But if you go out there, there's not many vacant lots. And so construction's still pretty brisk out there. So hopefully, not too far down the road, we'll be done. We paid the first install, or I think it's the final installment minus a 10% retention. I think it was $660,000 or something like that for the park. We hold back 10% until the 120-day maintenance period is done. If we're satisfied, then we would release the last 10% to the Netscape contractor. Right now, we are having some brief discussions about when we want to do the grand opening. This is our first new park in 20-something years. We certainly want to make a big deal of it. You'll be happy to know that we were out there and we actually asked them, where are the cherry blossom trees? And instead of one, there are seven.
There are
The
some.
ones by the sign, when you look at the sign,
Okay.
it's the seven that are closest to the sign. There's one on each side of the sign, and those are the cherry blossom trees that you thought you would like to see them.
Excellent. I'll have to go out there if we have good weather this weekend.
Well, please come out there, and hopefully you might have to climb over the fence because they are closed. But just based on the walkthrough, I was very impressed. I've done a number of these in the past, because we have one change order on this project, not a single change order. I would have expected a half a dozen or more, and we didn't. So the price that was quoted should be the price that we're paying. And even though we transferred over $900,000, the total cost should not exceed $800,000, but we also had some other costs that were not associated with with the contractor, and that was the underground work that had to be done. So we expect to be under the $900,000, and then we will collect approximately $700,000 more at the completion of build-out, and that will go into our park dedication fund. So things are actually moving very quickly. We think the park will be done, and we'll sign off on it's the beginning of the 120-day maintenance period, probably within the next 2 weeks.
So when would the park be available for the residents to use? That slide looked awesome even before.
I tried to get Scott to go up, and he wouldn't do it. I said,
I will do it.
The fencing will not come down until the end of the 120-day maintenance period. And just so you're aware, because we had this conversation, the contractor is on the hook for this 120 days, not just for plant material that may not survive and has to be replaced, but if somebody climbs over the fence and breaks a swing or puts graffiti on something, it's on their dime. They have to repair all that and fix it. We did make a suggestion to them to remove the swings so that somebody doesn't come up there and either steal them or injure themselves. However, when you look at the play equipment, there's nothing. When we were there, we actually had people coming into the park because we had opened the gates and there was an opening at the end by the retention pond. But to answer your questions, 120 days, then we take it down. The dedication doesn't have to be that very moment. We might want to wait a couple weeks for the newness of the park, but we still want it to be very popular. People use it, so when we do the dedication, we have an audience there as well. But we'll make sure that it gets, the word gets out to everyone that when the dedication will be.
Are we thinking a weekend?
I think for something like that, that would probably be the right call. Because we want to get the time when it's going to be used the most, and the weather is the best. And we've done dedications, as you know, in the evenings. But I think this one will more at daytime, and we're going to put Mark in charge of that project. And the other things I let Mark and Scott speak to their respective reports, so that's all I have.
All right, does anyone have any questions of Larry? All right, Scott, anything you'd like to highlight in your report?
Just one quick thing, in the park maintenance update section of my report, I mentioned that the base for the sign that we'll be putting in to honor Kay will be poured this month. It's already been done. I bring it up for a couple reasons. One, it's done. We poured the cement today and it's drying. But just to highlight, and it just goes back to the discussions we had when Sean came aboard over a year ago, how much it benefits the district in saving resources. Because a job like that, I mean, it was a big hole. It's 94-inch wide base. Sean took the specs, understood the specs, was able to work the specs, and what cost us about $350 in materials and 2 guys' time for about a day and a half. What it cost probably $2,500.
I was going to say, I think it's on 2 tracker.
So again, it just goes back to show what a great decision I think you guys made on that, funding that position, and it is paying off almost every day, especially in a job like that. And it looks professional, it looks well done, and it's going to be a good solid fix for a pretty big sign. So just wanted to point that out.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Scott? Mark?
Oh,
Yeah, I
here.
got-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, usually I just sit here nice and quiet.
That's
No, I just wanted to say, I was sitting there reading how Sean's in that schooling.
Yes. Yeah.
I just wanted to congratulate him for finishing his first year.
Yeah, it's I've been 2 years, and it's very intensive. I mean, you leave here, you catch an early flight Monday morning, you get down to the Ontario Airport, they shuttle you up the hill to Lake Arrowhead. It's a beautiful setting. UCLA Conference Center is fantastic. The food, they feed you very, very well there. But you're going 12 hours a day,
Right.
up early, and you go into the evening working your projects. And it's not an easy curriculum, and he did well. Plus, he was able to earn that District 2 scholarship that Mark kind of turned him on to. So saved the district quite a bit of money.
Yeah, no, I think it's great for him. It's helping him, it's helping us.
He's already bugging us about going next year for year 2.
Right.
That's good.
Love the enthusiasm. Okay, anybody? I'm sorry about that. Okay, Mark.
Just 2 things to go over. First is obviously we have the Breakfast with Santa event tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, Saturday. Saturday, getting a little hectic or setting up for tomorrow. We do expect it to probably be our largest Christmas event that we've had. We've had a lot of buzz about it, especially through like social media. The event itself, we thought our last event for October was the most we've ever received through Facebook. This event right here has actually doubled the amount of views that we saw in October. So we expect there to be a lot of people out for it, for the Breakfast Santa. We've told the Optimist to be prepared for that. But what's great about it is all the proceeds that go from the tickets that the Optimists are selling for the Breakfast Santa, it goes to North Highlands families, supporting them for Christmas, helping buy gifts and helping feed families on Christmas. So we're hoping we can raise a lot of money for them in conjunction with our own program itself. But we think it's going to be a big event. And then last is we have a movie in the park. We have actually rented the equipment. We've set a date. So on May 18th of 2019, Freedom Park, we're going to be having a movie in the park. We're going to let the public choose between 3 movies. We can't officially book the movie until January 1st. You can only book 6 months in advance. So we've been told to wait until January 1st. But if you guys do attend the Breakfast with Santa event, people can come up and they can actually vote on one of the 3 movies. And then we're also going to post it on our Facebook page and our website and try to get more interaction from the public to see what they actually want to see.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Real quick, the Breakfast with Santa, is that same thing? Or $5
It is the same.
I can see you afterwards,
Okay.
little sponsorship.
Got it.
So my question is, did you type this up or did Sarah?
We booked it. It's a community, yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking on the date, because I already had your date circled.
Yeah, I just,
Sarah, we were just gonna blame her.
no, that's me. I apologize.
I didn't know if you were gonna try to blame Terry somehow, so.
No, that's on me. No, it'll be fun. It'll be a great event.
You messed it, man.
Yeah, I just want to go back, since we didn't have a meeting in November, the Halloween. That Dracula, to
Yeah.
me, he was a highlight of the whole day. I mean, my grandkids, Dracula was there. I mean, it was, the way he took the kids on that parade
Yeah.
was phenomenal. You know, yeah, no, it's, I wanted to bring that up since it wasn't in here, that he did a good job.
No way.
Yeah.
The parade, I think taking it outside really made it more enjoyable for the kids. I thought that was a good change for this year. But once again, you're blessed with unbelievable weather.
Right.
That day. So it looks like the same thing's gonna happen on Saturday too. We're gonna put the weather for that.
I can't wait for Saturday too, I got to go there.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
All right, anybody else have any? Thank you. Here, you sure? Okay, I don't leave you out. Okay, item 7A, correspondence, letter dated November 14, 2018 from Blackco, and they are on the agenda under new business. Comments from and reports from citizens and organizations. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have any tonight. Item 9, unfinished business, there isn't any. So item 10B, the LAFCO nominations for membership on special district advisory committees.
I do have an update on that. We received a notification the other day from LAFCO indicating that, not that it make a difference for us, but that the Monday, December 17th deadline has been extended to January 19th because they realized it was buttoned up against the holidays. So while we certainly can take your action tonight, the deadline had been extended till January.
So that means you're telling us we can take an extra month to convince Ms. Richards to volunteer for this?
No.
You could do that, or you could do that tonight.
Mrs. Richards is not volunteering for this. Thank you very much. Are you volunteering, Alan?
We'll nominate you.
No, I
I'm sure we can quick second.
I'm gonna pass on that opportunity. Thank you. So is there, so we can only nominate someone from our own board then on this, or is there, oh, okay, so if there was someone that we liked in another district, okay, sounds good. Okay, item 10C, district policy, 3140.3, the procurement guidelines for new construction and repairs. So Larry, is there anything you'd like to add?
Sure. I think you remember a couple of years ago, I brought this to you, and we had this particular issue, and we found out that our policy had not been updated for about a million years. And so the board updated that time. Well, we just received this notification from the state controller's office indicating that it has now been updated once more. I think it's every 3 to 4 years they update it.
Yeah, they review it.
If you don't need me to repeat it, you can see what the figures are that have been adjusted up. We need to take action to change our board policy, so that gives us more leeway as we go into future look at projects and purchases as to what the limitations are.
I'll make a motion to approve the new procurement guidelines for new construction repairs, which is R 3140.3 in our guidelines.
Second that motion.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now, the big highlight of the evening, 10, the election board officer for the 2019 calendar year.
Okay.
So,
I'll start. I'm going to get Diane for chair.
I'll second that.
thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Okay.
Just trying to make you feel loved.
So, does anyone Serious? Seriously?
Yeah, I abstained for you. You can't pin it on me then.
Whatever. Vice Chair, so anyone want to nominate a?
I'll do it again.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
I will
motion
nominate
and second, Pedro
I'll say
seconds.
that, yes.
Okay, anyone else want to make a nomination? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All right,
Who nominated, who seconded?
I nominated him.
Pedro second, okay.
It's the right hand man thing, right?
that's right, all right, secretary.
We'll
any
nominate, yeah, I have a nominate.
All right.
Got
I
that?
did a good job this year.
Very,
I signed
very
some
well
things.
done.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and second, any more nominations? All those in favor? Aye, motion passes, all right, thank you. So if there are any committees that people are really dying to be on, or if you like where, the committee that you're on, just let me know. And then,
I'm working on mine now, if I can stay with it.
Yeah.
everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
My main squeeze.
Can we do that? If
Whatever
everyone's
you-
happy?
Whatever the chair decides she wants to do is fine.
Okay, everybody says that they like the committees that,
You can do that when it's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda for next month.
oh, it's next month?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why
bummer.
I'm saying, can she not do it now?
No,
We can talk,
Okay.
we can talk about it, you just can't make a decision until January.
Okay.
it's on January.
Cheers.
We
Okay.
see how easy that's gonna be.
Thank you for making that decision.
Already thought
For
about
me.
it.
All right, so, last item, payment of the bills. So does anyone have any questions?
Get all
Staff of the
the
billing
Get all the bills. You gotta find one. You gotta find one. Oh,
Well, we have two, right? We have October and November.
Yes.
Madam
That's
Chair, want to
right.
do these together or separate?
We can do them together. So we have the billing report for November 2018, since we did not meet for the regular meeting, and also for December.
So, question for you, and I probably ask this every single year. On the October 2018, on the last page, the first three, so we're paying property tax on those?
Yes.
Why? Aren't we like a governmental agency? Don't we get property tax? I mean,
Yeah, we pay, they're on page 2 too. You see them in
oh yeah, they're there, yeah.
Yeah. And just trying to think when Kay when Kay was here, we started paying.
Okay,
I know.
that doesn't make sense.
Where does it go?
I'll make a motion to approve ratification of the bills for both October and November.
Okay,
I'll
got
second
a
that.
motion and a second. Okay, is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye, motion passes. The next regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the North Highlands Recreation Park District will be January 10, 2019,
Nobody caught that.
at 6:30 PM in the North Highlands Recreation Center, 64 Watt Avenue, North Highlands.